Is the Miss Knockout Show on the airwaves? So like, if I, share if I, bless if I the flow. Is the Miss Knockout Show? Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beast to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat goes shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tapify, keep it all in the flow. Cause it's the Miss Knockout Show. Knockout Show. Hot topics, beats and the glow. You rock it with Miss Knockout. Let's go. Let's fuck.
So I won't be squinting and straining my eyes. All right. So everybody come on in. We're going to talk about today David D4Vd. Okay. We're going to talk about his case. Okay. And then we're going to go over the autopsy report. We're going to go over exactly how she was unalived. Okay. And like I said, it's kind of graphic, so be prepared. All right, some graphic stuff going on here. And they did in my opinion, they did Celeste really they violated her. They did her dirty. Okay, so what we are slowly finding out is everybody wanted to know, like, why was this done to this girl? The motive is slowly coming out, and everything is all alleged in Miss Knockout's live, y'all. Everything's all alleged. All right, so it's slowly coming out what the motive is on why they did Celeste dirty like they did, and it's coming out that she allegedly met him when she was 11, right? They started dating when they was 13. Sidebar, he had graphic little people videos on his phone, right? Which makes him to me have illness. And anytime because I know somebody, right? Personally, I know somebody whose husband got caught with all this little people unright material on their phone. And the way that they got caught is their kid went to school and started talking about it. You got to watch, like, the kids are real smart, y'all. Kids are, right? And the universe will do you in. And we was trying to figure out what said person on how to catch this person. We couldn't. They had an idea, but they couldn't catch it. And it got to the point where the person slept in the bedroom and barricaded the kids from the husband, right? Was stay at home mom, left her income to stay home and take care of the kids and protect them from the weirdo. But in the meantime, the weirdo is right in the house with you. How about that? You know what I'm saying? And it's a sickness. And this person who has no business in or around the jail, who had a very good job, who just got a job promotion, lost everything because he wanted to be a weirdo in life. Right? And that's a sickness. And it's almost like the addictification. It's almost like an addictification. And it's like they can't stop it almost. So keep in mind, allegedly, because you know that they collect your phone, they collect your internet data, they collect your messages, they collect your cloud. As we seen in the Diddy case, they collect everything. They collect everything, right? And they collected everything on David, and they found a lot of stuff. And even if you go and you delete stuff, right? Even if you go and you delete stuff, you can still hook it up to machinery and get all the data out. And if you can't get it out the machinery, you could write the phone company. You got Metro PCS, you got Spectrum or whatever, right? They'll write those companies and they'll get all the data on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's safe to say, once you put something internet, going to the internet. Thank you, Deshaun. Right? It's going to stay in the internet. So let's start going over some stuff. Okay, we're going to go to my notes first, and then we're going to go into the autopsy report. Right? So we got new court findings in the jaw-dropping case of David, spelled D4Vd, in the alleged unaliving of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, was unalived just short of her birthday. I think was within a few days her birthday was, right? And look at Ashley. Ashley's birthday just passed and she was unalive. It's a doggone shame. Like, you know, you got to know, right? Life is short and life can change at the blink of an eye. Look at that girl from X Factor who got into a fight with her. Did y'all hear about the other UK? We're going to talk. We got a lot to talk about this coming forward, going forward. We got a lot to talk about. That UK singer got into a fight from the X Factor, got into a fight with another rival because they were singing the same Afrobeats god, right? And they got into a street fight, and I think it was in the UK in London. I'm going to go over that story too. And two very popular girls, beautiful girls, beautiful voices. You know, and one of those that was getting jumped in a car and ran over the other singer. I don't. Some reports are saying she's unalive. Some reports are saying that she's hanging on for her life. Right, but look how a person who had everything going for themselves changed their life in a blink of an eye. Imagine if you get everything going for yourself. You got a new house, new car, new career, dream job, relationship, everything's going right. And then one thing just changes your trajectory. And it looks like they were all on the alky to the hall. You know what I'm saying? But she could have just got in her car and left. But she got in her car and she ran over the girl. And now she's facing life in prison, allegedly. Because, you know, overseas laws is not like, you know, everybody, country's different. All right, let's get back to David. All right. So David's name is David Anthony Burke. He's 21 years old. All right. A TikTok famous alt pop star, behind hits like Romantic Homicide. Thank you, Lila. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the blessifications, everybody. Blessify Miss Knockout so she won't be brokified. Keep on tapping. Anything you could do, hashtags to push the word out. I appreciate it all. If you want to YouTube the Tubesy, give the video a thumbs up. All right. I see you, Risa. I see everybody on the YouTube the Tubesy. Give it a thumbs up. All right. And we're gonna get into it. So we're gonna get into this autopsy, but we're gonna go through my notes first. All right. So everybody come on in, keep tapifying, keep sharifying, and on the YouTube side, make sure that you like my video, share it, push it out. Okay, so Celeste's decomposed, dismembered. I'm just going on the backstory because everybody don't know everything. So sometimes people come in and they be like, "Oh, I never heard of this," because everybody don't watch everything. That's why Miss Knockout is here. Have no fear. All right. So Celeste's Rivas's Hernandez, her decomposed, dismembered remains were stuffed into a cadaver bag in the front trunk of his abandoned Tesla back in September 2025. Right? Now, a word about the Tesla. The Tesla has cameras in it, around it, on the inside, on the outside. And I'm sure the prosecutor, I'm sure Tesla worked with the company of Tesla because they have an operating system. I call it the Tesla the snitch car. I call it Tesla the snitch car, right? Because it's a snitch on you. It got cameras everywhere. And cameras in the front, cameras in the back, cameras in the front, truck. If you doing no good, don't get you a Tesla. That's a word. And you shouldn't be doing no good. You shouldn't be doing no good. But if you're a slimy individual, don't go up happy-fication too, y'all. All right. What's up, man? How are you? So you can't dismantle the camera. That's correct, Zoe. Right? And if you do no good, all right. What's up, sexy Panama? How are you? Everybody coming on in. If you do no good and you try to get rid of the cameras, you can't get rid of the cameras. Right? Go get you a Honda or something. Or don't do no good. I don't know why people feel like that. I don't know why people do these things and think that they're going to get away with it. If I could get in David's head or sit down with David, my day's going good, sexy Panama. I would ask him, what made you feel like you would get away with something like this? Right? I don't even think I'm going to get away with jaywalking. I watch it. Sometimes I'm getting ready to jaywalk and I look to see if any cop cars are coming. Right? You messing with the laws? Look at Tory Lanez. Lost everything. I mean, he still got his family. His family probably holding him down, keeping his stuff in storage or whatever. Hopefully he'll come out. You got to keep his stuff in storage and all of that. And it's like, who wants to lose everything? Right? That's some crazy stuff. Yeah, people are crazy. They are. He was trying to get rid of the problem, of course. He was definitely trying to get rid of the problem, of course. And I don't want to keep using the excuse YN, right? Because we got some ONs that act worse than YNs out here. We call them tween-year citizens. Teen-year citizens, like teenagers that act like, my friends that date said the older guys act worse than the younger guys now. Good morning. Hey, Charlene. Hey. So they found it in a Tesla, the worst car you could find stuff in, right? I'm sure the court date and the court case is going to have all this stuff in it. And I'm going to get info from the court date. It's just today I got to go to work this afternoon, y'all. All right. So tomorrow we'll be able to start early and we'll get more stuff in. And plus they got the Julio Folio case going on. Would y'all want to see the Julio Folio case? Yes or no? Are you interested in the Julio Folio case? Should I cover that? Yes. Okay, Slave Braid says yes. Right? I've been watching, what I've been watching was DVD on Blame the Chat Troy. That's one of my favorite people in the whole wide world is DDG. I love DDG, man. He's so down to earth. And this tour, Kalila, you got to go watch it. It's on YouTube. So what he's doing is, and people are going to copy off of him. People are going to copy off of DDG. DDG got all the radio stations streaming now. All the radio stations got streams now. You know what I'm saying? Streaming is the way to go. Like, the world keeps evolving. And the way the world is evolving now is that everybody's watching the content creators. Look, we got almost 40 people in here getting their news and information from Miss Knockout. Y'all could have went to Channel 4, Channel 5, Netflix, and pick a channel. But y'all are in here with Miss Knockout watching. And then when Miss Knockout releases music, y'all boost it. Streaming is the way to go. Right? Everybody ain't cut out for streaming. I understand. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Just like Miss Knockout ain't going to go and become a boxer because I like my pretty clear skin and I like all of my teeth in my head. You know what I'm saying? But Krishan is a good boxer, but that's for her. It's not for me. Everything ain't for everybody. Some people like to watch streams and some people like to do streams. Right? The news not covering what you are. Yeah, the news, and plus the news don't cover what news. That's correct. That's correct. The news don't cover it like new media covers it. Right? And the powers that be, okay, the T-Man, and that's why I'm going to be like, I'm going to report on politics once in a while, but I don't want my whole stream to be about politics because now they're targeting streamers, independent, whether independent. Right now they're trying to fire Jimmy Kimmel again. Why are they trying to fire Jimmy Kimmel? Right? It used to be a time where we could say what we wanted to say, unless it's not something really crazy. But Jimmy Kimmel said, all right, and everything's all alleged, and Ms. Knockout ain't saying this. I'm just repeating what Jimmy Kimmel said. To give you an example, I'm watching, and you telling it the best. Start to the point. Thank you so much, Nan Nan. Right, mix it up. So Jimmy Kimmel said, look at Melania-ification. I'm going to switch her name around just in case. He said, look at Melania-ification. She looks like a glowing widow. And everybody laughed. Ah, it was a joke. Right? But it was a joke that Mr. T and Melania didn't like. And now they're trying to get him fired again. Right? So there's no more free speech. And if you work for a machine, right? They're gonna instantly see you. Me, it's gonna take some work to find me. Because I got my crowd, but everybody don't know about Miss Knockout. A lot of people do. But everybody knows about Mr. Kim. So they're trying to like censor what we talk about. Right? So during the ballroom thing, right, they said that the media and streamers and content creators allegedly are the cause for that guy to go and pum the ballroom because the media and the content creators say such horrible things about the T-Man, and it makes people want to get him. And that's a total lie for me. I don't believe that 1 minute. No, you do stuff and you do dumb shit. We talk about the dumb BS that you do, and then you get mad at us for talking about it. How about if you don't do dumb stuff, we wouldn't have anything to talk about? How about that? Nobody's calling you names and making people hateify you. You're making people hateify you. You and your chromies and your regime. Y'all are doing it. We're just recapping what we see and what we hear. Right? So how are we to blame that man pumed up the dinner and now y'all want a ballroom and you want our taxpayers' dollars to play with it? So I said to myself, I don't want my channel to be a political channel. I do watch Midas Touch. Midas Touch, they're going after Midas Touch really hard. The Mr. T and his whole regime is trying to take the Midas Touch channel down, allegedly, because every day Midas Touch rips him a new one. And I go over there and listen. He has some good stuff. But he's only talking about what you're doing. And you keep doing dumb stuff. Right? So I want to shape my channel more. Like I'll talk about politics once in a blue because I don't want to get caught up in the BS that's going on with them targeting content creators. Right? But mostly my channel is going to be viral news, some celebrity news, and crime stories developing, world stories developing, more of like a news channel, right? Less politics. The only reason why I'm talking about politics, because the war is the biggest thing going. Okay, let's get back to the David case. Let's get back on track. Because I digress so hard, but I'm just telling you going forward why I'm doing stuff the way that I'm doing. Right? Okay. So Celeste was allegedly found dismembered in the back of his in the front trunk of his Tesla, right? Just shy of her 15th birthday. Right? She was stuffed in cadaver bags, right? And how did she get in these cadaver bags? She didn't jump in the trunk by herself. She didn't codify her own self up to fit her own self in these bags. So somebody had to do it. Hi, Blueprint. Thank you so much, Blueprint. Hey, thank you so much, Blueprint. What's up with you? So we want, and everybody wants to get into the bottom of who did this to Celeste and who put her in these bags. Welcome, Molly. So, Celeste was deemed as a runaway. She'd been running away back and forth. I also might mention that David met her, right? Drinking my carafe. What is that? What is that, Blueprint? Oh, your coffee. Oh, your coffee. You spelled it different. I'm drinking Red Bull. I'm drinking Red Bull because I got to work on Raising Kanan today with 50 Cent's film. Right? I'm just doing background work, but y'all might peep me in there because every time I go, the director loves me. He always puts me in a good spot. Right? But I'm just doing it for extra money because Ms. Knockout, I'm trying to build my stream up. I'm trying to get another computer. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to pay those bills. So every once in a while, I got to dip out to work. But I prefer staying here with you. So everybody, we got 43 people in the room. Blessify Miss Knockout so she won't be brokified. Right? Because I'm not going to sit here and power beg her in battles all day and do nothing for you. I'm providing content for you and news that you can use. So it's not like you're wasting your time and energy in here. You know what I'm saying? You're getting information that you really need to know about. Right? What movie I'm going to put on my list? What movie you going to put on your list? Well, the Michael Jackson movie is coming out. The Michael Jackson, I want to go watch that and do a review about it. They say the whole movie's about them getting away from Joe Jackson. They said the whole movie's about them getting away from Joe Jackson. Right? Okay, let's get back to this. All right. So the 14-year-old was stuffed in a cadaver bag in the front trunk of a Tesla. We're talking about David case. We're getting ready to go into the autopsy. I'm just doing the backstory because everybody don't know everything. All right. So the prosecutors are painting a picture of a calculated, horrifying cover-up tied to protecting his skyrocketing music career. Right? Joe is a mess, right? Joe is a mess. So to protect his skyrocketing music career. Now, you know what I always say, right? When your life starts taking off, when you start getting your blessings, when you get a new job, when you start having 300-400 people in your life, when you start booking parts, when you get a record deal, when you do anything that's a dream in your life, who always starts coming around? Put it in the comments. Who makes you a visit when you start getting the blessings in your life? The devil, Diablo, bad energy, low vibrations. We got the yin and the family. Blueprint said family. All of y'all are saying family. All of y'all are saying family. Wow. Family is like that. Wow, I'm learning. Wow. So family is outshining the devil. Family. All of y'all said family. Wow. Family is outshining the devil, y'all. I was going to say family and the devil. Blueprint said family and the devil. Blueprint said family and the devil. Well, I'm fortunate enough that, because I grew up in foster care, and I was adopted, right? But I stay in touch with both of my families, right? I stay in touch with both of my families, right? And both of my families happen to be good. They happen to be good. Both of my hold on, let me wipe off the screen. Both of my families happen to be good. They don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I haven't come into a lot of money yet. Like when you come into a lot of money, it kind of change stuff. But I don't think that they would change that much. Right? But that's so white. That's so crazy that everybody said family, and I'm thinking of the devil, right? So the devil robbed DVD of his bag. Don't let the devil steal your bag. Don't let the devil trick you out of your bag. Don't get to a certain point and then feed into BS or go do some stupid stuff. You in control of what you're doing. You didn't have to take your hands and take a knifification and chopify somebody up and put them in cadaver bags. You did that. You chose to do that. Right? So their prosecutors are painting a picture of a calculated, we're going off my notes now, horrifying ordeal was to protect his skyrocketing music career. Fresh court dockets released this week dropped stomach-churning evidence like chainsaw purchases, a kiddie pool used as a blood barrier, and several fingers with his severed finger with his name tattooed on it. So in other words, she went and got this tattoo with David's name on it, and in the midst of them allegedly dismembering her, they chopified her finger off. Wow. Just wow. So what, you might ask, what are they trying to cover up? Well, this goes all back to, remember I told you that allegedly they found little people, right, And I don't mean the little people that are adults and they're just little. When I say little people in this, I mean actual little people. Kidification, pornification on his phone. A sickness. So he was into the little people. Right? Thank you, Lizzie. Everybody get your orange heart like Lizzie. So they found all this data on his phone. It's going to come up in court. So they want to cover up their relationship to protect his career and his livelihood. Well, I know a way to keep your livelihood and your career safe, people. It's to not mess with little people. Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you. It's to not mess with little people. That's how you correct your career. That's how you protect your livelihood. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you. That's my Lizzie Pooh. Thank you, Lizzie Pooh. Thank you so much. That's how you correct. Thank you. That's my favorite gift, the boxing gloves. Thank you so much, Lizzie. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Lizzie. That's how you protect your career. You don't go out and do dumb stuff. How about that? You 21 years old, you got all these beautiful young girls that's 18 and over to mess with. What's the correct age to mess with? Is it 18? Or is it 19? I would say 18, right? What's the correct age for a 21 years old to not go below? 18, right? So 18 is considered, an adult kinda. Okay, it's considered adult kinda. I wouldn't go below 18. You got all these girls out here screaming at your concert, yelling at your name, singing your songs, being groupies. And you got the circle that you in. All these beautiful girls, 18, 19, 21. Go get you an older woman, 22. Why you got to mess with 11, 12, 13? That's a sickness. Anybody who has a thought of anything provocative with somebody who is 13, 11, 12, that's a sickness. Am I right or wrong? Thank you, Deshaun. So they're saying the motive is, the prosecutors are painting the picture, is that he was trying to protect his skyrocketing music career. With fresh documents released this week dropping stomach-clenching evidence. Buying a kiddie pool to catch the bloodification is crazy work. And you might ask yourself, wow, what human could be around this gory stuff? Well, remember I told you, they got footage of his concert with him bringing in coffins as part of the backdrop and the background. DDG is bringing background screens to stream live, and this is his background. He's bringing in coffins. This other dude. By the way, how many people you bet is good you're going to see going forward that got a live stream on their show? How many people? Wow. So, this fool purchased a kiddie pool, chainsaw, and other stuff to do what he needed to do. If I go and I like an artist and I go to the concert and I see the artist bringing in coffins and certain other paraphernalia in that vein, I'm gonna I'm gonna chalk the money up to the game and go home. This is not where I need to be. It's not my tribe. So as of today, April 30th, David remains behind bars without bail in LA County. Now we're going to go deeper into this, but today we want to focus on the autopsy. He pleaded not guilty to everything. There's no trial date set, but the case is barreling and forging towards a major preliminary hearing, now reset for May 26th. Now I'm going to speak to the community for a minute. May 26th. We got about 26 days. Does the knockout community think that they could get Miss Knockout out there for that court date? Do you think I could get in for that court date? Armand said that there's not that many streamers at this court date. It's not that many streamers at this court date. I think I might want to get out there for that court date, get an Airbnb. And I'll stay out there for a day or two. Go see Kalila or something. You know what I'm saying? I'll go from the 25th, 26th, to the 25th to the 28th, I would go. Only because I just want an extra day to go around Cali, go see people I know, go check out Kalila, go have a couple of drinkifications with a couple other people I know out there, and come back. But I want to go out there and then broadcast, go and take notes all day and broadcast. So we're going to work on that. Do you think it's a plan? Yes or no? Who thinks that's obtainable? I think I could get an Airbnb for about $100 a night, close to the courtroom, so that I could get right to the courtroom. Right? Find out the courtroom, get close to the courtroom. Book like it's not in Cali. It's not in Cali. Where is it? Well, I would have to get it close to the courtroom so I could go to the court. I'm sure what my friends is in Cali, we'll find a way to meet up. But I want a couple of extra days so I could go out in Cali and catch some content and then come back. I don't want to just go for a day and then, I want to get some stuff done. Right? So I would go from like to get out there the 23rd. The date is the court date is the 26th. So I get out there the 25th, 26th, and I would leave the 28th just to give me a full day to do stuff. And then I'll leave that date and come back. It's in Ventura. Okay, I'll get it. So I'll get an Airbnb. It would probably be less expensive. I think more expensive in LA. Be less expensive, but we'll work that out. We're going to plan it. We're going to plan it, y'all. And I'm going to get out there. As long as I got a place to stay, airfare, and I got some food in my belly and a way to get around, we Gucci. Right? Ventura, and it's not too far for you. Okay. Maybe I could drag Kalila to the courtroom. Get her pumped, get her lit. Get you lit out there, Kalila. You know what I'm saying? So the next court date is May 25th. And we get ready to go over and through the autopsy, all right, of this girl. And we want to concentrate on the autopsy today. And then going forward, when I come on tomorrow or whenever, we'll go and we'll start dissecting the case because there's a lot of moving parts. Okay, I'm not certain about that, but no, I'm gonna find out the exact location, Cindy. You know me. I'm gonna find out exactly where it's at. I'm gonna find out exactly where it's at. Armand's is the only one who's going to the case right now. Armand Wiggins, he is on the money. I love Armand, man. I like everybody. Don't go by me. All right, so let's get into this. Hold on. Okay, let's get into this autopsy. All right, let's get into it. Everybody sharify. Everybody tapify. Yes, I got my reading glasses on today.
Pro.
Q-Mark popped in for a few seconds.
Congress, I won't vote for one more cent.
All right, we got a little
illegal and
going
immoral work.
Everybody
People
continue
using
to tap a
dollars
5.
and Medicare for
Everybody
all,
continue to share a
childcare,
5.
and affordable housing.
I got a lot of crime
Not
stories
more
going
death
forward.
and destruction abroad.
Good
I'm Dan
afternoon,
Goldman,
Kim.
and I approve this
Hey.
message because New Yorkers are done.
We got a lot of crime stories going forward. We got a lot of cases. We're going to talk about politics, but I'm not going to talk about politics that much.
That's not
because they're trying to throw people in jail that's talking about the man that starts with a T. He wants to silence everybody. And I ain't got time to be in that doggone little realm. And plus, I don't want my channel to be a politics channel. You know what I'm saying? I want my channel to talk about a broad spectrum of news, crime, viral stories, celebrity news, whatever. I don't want it to be just talking about him. If I had to talk about him all day, I would throw up. You know what I'm saying? And they trying to throw people in jail that's talking about that man that's starting with a T. They're seeking content creators out, right? And they're trying to put one of these girls in a girl, I think it is, a content creator. She reported on Cockeye, and that's why I call them Cockeye, because they can't say who I'm really talking about. So I changed their names, but they don't change their names. So she was talking about the story about how Cockeye they getting on him because 12 people reported allegedly that he was drinkifying and not showing up late, locking himself in a room, drinkifying, right? And she was talking about that, about the story about it as a regular, journalist. And they're trying to throw her in jail. They're trying to have her, the head of the FBI is trying to have, I don't know her name offhand. I was just reading the article. I'm going to find the name and come back. But they're trying to throw her in jail because she was talking about Cockeye and his alleged drinking problems. And he's saying it's a lie and you're talking about, so now they're trying to investigate that girl, right? And plus she was talking about his girlfriend. So they're trying to investigate her for stalking. They're trying to investigate her for stalking charges and put her in jail, you see? So is there any freedom of speech anymore? Because new media, we got more of a realm of talking than a Channel 4, Channel 5. Channel 4, Channel 5, they got to say the deaths. They got to watch what they say. We got more of a reach and we could be more down with it. Now we can't even do that. So that's why I'm not really concentrating on politics too much. I will talk about certain things that's important, but they try and throw people in jail, right? Okay, so let's go into the autopsy. Let's get into it.
Brings the autopsy report for Celeste Rivas Hernandez in the David murder investigation has just been released. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Okay, so thanks for joining us here on this breaking sidebar. As I mentioned right here, this is what we've been waiting for in the David investigation, in the Celeste Rivas death investigation. This is the coroner's report. So it just came in, right? So after David was arrested, after he has been charged with the death of, charged with the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, this is what we've been waiting for. The cause of death. This has been sealed for months. And this is providing a lot of details. I'm going to tell you right now, it is very difficult to read through this. It is gruesome, but this is going to be a key point for both the prosecution and the defense. We know that Celeste's body, the body of this 14-year-old girl, was found in the trunk of a Tesla that was allegedly registered to David in Los Angeles back on September 8th, 2025. And again, this is going to be a key factor in this prosecution as he faces not only first-degree murder charges because they're highlighting special circumstances here, lying in wait, financial gain, that she was a witness to a crime, but he's also facing sex crimes charges and mutilation of human remains. So I want to go through this. I want to bring on a special guest. I'm not going to do it by myself. I want to make sense of this. I'm bringing on Mary Jambelic a former forensic pathologist and former chief medical examiner, to go through this. Mary, thank you so much for taking the time. Before we even get started into the details, I would be remiss if I didn't just start with the statement from the County of Los Angeles medical examiner. I'm going to read it verbatim. The County of Los Angeles Department of Medical Examiner determined the cause and manner of death for 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez as multiple penetrating injuries caused by objects. The manner of death is homicide. Ms. Rivas Hernandez was discovered at 1100 hours on September 8, 2025, in the front trunk of a vehicle in a tow yard in Los Angeles, and death was pronounced by a detective with the LAPD. A deputy medical examiner conducted an examination of Ms. Rivas Hernandez on September 10th, 2025, at the DME's Forensic Science Center. The cause and manner of death were determined December 9th, 2025. A court order initiated by the LAPD previously prevented the DME from releasing its findings. And this is the statement of Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Ode Akpo. After several months, I am grateful this information can now be released not only to the public, but also to the grieving family enduring loss. It is unfathomable they have had to wait this long to learn what happened to their daughter. The transparency of the information contained in our findings and reports is essential for empowering the community to make informed changes to effectively reduce fear and allowing the community to take informed action. Making the department's information publicly available is not just about accountability, it is about social justice and prevention. By ensuring access to this information, we strengthen our ability to learn, to act, and ultimately to prevent the next tragic loss of life. I want to extend my gratitude to our partner agencies for taking the necessary step of filing an order with the court to make this disclosure possible. Mary, I'll first start there. It's not every day you hear a statement like this from a chief medical examiner. Let's start right there.
That's true. Sometimes we don't want to release the cause, the specifics about the cause of death in an active investigation, because perhaps it's information that only the killer would know. And so that's understandable that might be obscured initially. But I think what the chief medical examiner in LA is saying is that they had this information, they wanted to release this information, and they were thwarted in doing so.
And when you hear, so I'm reading from it, right? So the date of the injury, they say, is unknown. The place of the injury is unknown. Pronounced date, time, September 8th, 2025, 11 a.m. Date of examination, September 10th, 2025. And it was completed, right? So December 9th, 2025. Is that time span typical?
I think from September to December, that's reasonable because they're awaiting certain specialty ancillary tests, such as toxicologic examination. And it's much harder to do on a decomposing body than if it were fresh deceased. So the fact that that takes a couple months to get that information, so that that's part of the whole picture of, what happened to this poor teenager, that's reasonable.
And just to be clear, as we talk about this, David is innocent until proven guilty, and his defense attorneys have said that he did not murder Celeste and he is not the cause of her death. So I want to go through the specifics right now. Again, it is not easy to hear this, but this is going to be important legal case. So her cause of death has been ruled multiple penetrating injuries. Her death has been classified as a homicide. I'm going to read verbatim. And by the way, they put diagrams in here as well, but 2 penetrating wounds of the torso, right abdomen with injury to liver, left chest with penetration of underlying intercostal space and cortical disruption of adjacent ribs. Other findings, bilateral dismemberment of upper and lower extremities, multiple additional skin defects. Death was pronounced at the scene. Autopsy examination was limited by extensive post-mortem changes. And by the way, this is something to keep in mind because you're talking about dismemberment and decomposition. There are 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. The wound on the upper abdomen penetrates the liver, and the wound on the left chest penetrates one of the left intercostal spaces with disruption of the adjacent ribs' cortical surfaces. The left lung appears intact. The bilateral upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment. Multiple other skin and soft tissue defects are present without apparent associated internal injury. The age of these defects is not clearly due to severe postmortem changes. Postmortem toxicology performed on liver tissue shows the presence of a low level of ethanol, which may be due in postmortem changes or ingestion, and does not appear to be contributory to the cause of death. Let's start right there.
Mhm.
What does this mean, and what does this tell you, and what are there still questions about?
Well, the body sounds like it's in a state of postmortem decomposition with some loss of integrity of the skin surface and some bloating and skin slippage, etc. But despite that, the medical examiner was able to identify 2 wounds that penetrated, meaning they went into the body, significantly into the liver, which would bleed a lot,
Wow.
and significantly into the lung, the space around the lung, which also would cause a problem with air and blood accumulating there. And if it were a freshly deceased person, perhaps the edges of the wounds would tell you the weapon much more clearly, but it's more difficult in a decomposing body. But they are trying to generally describe the wounds and the shape without saying it's absolutely a knife that did this.
And to be clear, I'm glad you mentioned that, because earlier in the week, when they talked about the charges and the special circumstances, it was very specific, a sharp instrument they claim was used. They didn't say it was a knife or an axe or something. They were just saying it was kind of specific. This was something that was picked up on by TMZ. They believe defense attorneys would jump on this. There are 2 penetrating wounds of the torso with smooth edges that may represent sharp force injuries. So in other words, is there room here to suggest that it was something else?
Something that was sharp enough to penetrate skin and underlying tissue and go into the liver and then into the space around the lung.
Wow.
Is it, what exactly is it? That's really the question. And I don't know that they'll be able to say exactly the weapon that was used.
Is there, and I'm going to go through this more. I don't want to ask this question. I have to ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in here to indicate that she was alive at the time of dismemberment?
Not from what the medical examiner described. It sounds like classic amputating the body to try to compact it, to hide it, to dispose of it. I've seen that in a number of homicide cases. So nothing that suggests that these amputations occurred while she was alive.
When you go to other parts of the report, they talk about tattoos, and they say description that she had a tattoo on the finger. This is something that we've talked about before that seemed to be the identifier, one of the ways that they identified her as Celeste. But when you go to other parts of it, other parts of her body, including eye color, cannot assess due to severe postmortem changes.
Wow.
Is that decomposition? Is that dismemberment? So I guess it becomes a question, how significant is that to determine what exactly happened to her, and how much does that complicate this analysis?
Well, forensic pathologists are skilled at identifying wounds and trauma in all manner of body composition. So all the way from the freshly deceased to the skeletonized to the exhumed body. Taking all of that with the education and experience of the Los Angeles Medical Examiner's Office, they're familiar with the interpretation of wounding in a body and seeing it at this decomposition level. So yes, of course it makes it harder. You have to really call on your knowledge base to interpret the wounds. The eyes being collapsed after death is normal. They lose their turgor. They don't, they're not the same shape. So not being able to see her eye color, that's a completely normal thing in a decomposition like this.
Her weight was 71 pounds. Is that?
You lose a lot of weight also, in this sort of death decomposition process. So that's not reliable as to what her ante-mortem weight was.
I want to go to skin
Anti-mortem,
defects. Multiple
wow.
skin defects are also present over the torso, with many perforating the skin and soft tissue without identifiable soft tissue hemorrhage or associated internal organ injuries. They range from 5/16 inch to 1/4 inches in greatest dimension. Multiple superficial linear abrasions are also noted on the right dorsal hand. The upper and lower extremities show full thickness dismemberment with relatively flat cut surfaces through the soft tissue and bone. No discernible hemorrhage is identified at these sites. Multiple fragments of blue plastic material are found embedded in the cut surfaces. Representative fragments are collected by medical examiner criminalists and submitted to the evidence department on September 8th, 2025. The right upper extremity is 9 inches from the top shoulder. Upper extremity is distinct from the fourth and fifth fingers are. The right lower extremity is dismembered into in the bottom of the heel. The left lower extremity is dismembered in 2 places. One site is 9 inches from the top of the leg, and the other is 15 inches from the bottom of the heel. It says the head with an absent left eye, and there is liquefaction of the soft tissues. What does this tell you about how she was dismembered?
Wow. So it's doing a lot. So see, any person that's bringing caskets in as a prop to their show, listening to this stuff, right?
$27 AI.
You kind of see how he was able to bear, like, you know, an average person, a human. That's like the horror show. That's like being in a movie that you see. Thank you, Kim. A horror show movie that you see in the movies on TV, and you covering your eyes like this. For you to live it out and actually do it, you got to be a certain kind of person for that. And it's not an average person. It's a person who has a very sick mind. Let's listen to it.
It's important in dismemberment to look at the edges of the wounds. So any tool marks, any particular saw that might have been used to do this, the fact that there are these blue flecks give you some clue if you're able to then locate something that was used in the process.
So now her body allegedly was chopped into parts, and they have on record that he bought a saw. It's like this case, it seems like they got so much evidence. Like y'all said, he is cooked. He is cooked. They got you getting the hacksaw. I guess in the case, they're gonna tell exactly. They're gonna have an expert come in, right? 2 chainsaws, right? That means Cindy, he wanted somebody probably working with him. Yeah, he's definitely fried. So he brought 2 chainsaws because he wanted somebody to help him. You ain't gonna be sitting there operating 2 chainsaws. You're gonna give one to your boy and your mans and them. And his mans and them would be stupid to take that hand chain because now you involved. Now you involved. Here, take this chainsaw. Help me get this in it. Now you involved. Ain't nobody fixing to do life in prison with you. I'm leaving. Okay? Let's listen.
And just doing the careful tool mark analysis on the ends of the bones in all of the amputations, the fact that everything is together there there's the body bag and then there's the trash bag with the limbs in it. They weren't discarded in different places. So you have a lot of material to work on to try to figure out what was used to cut through the limbs.
What?
So he wasn't even like smart enough to dispose of these body parts in different places. What's up, Blue? Hey, how are you? What's up, Blue Lotus? He didn't dispose of this in different places. He put them all in separate bags in one place. He could have dropped one in the river. He could have rode down to San Diego, dropped the body part. He could have rode here. Now, they probably would have found them all. Because it's no way that he was getting away with all of this. I don't care how he did it. I don't care how he did it. Everybody, we're talking about Celeste Rivas's autopsy report is in, and the case is underway. And I'm trying to get out there to go to the case, the court date, May 26th. So we're trying to get out there to go to the court preliminary day. Can I imagine if I get out there in the court and the date is like an hour? I'm like, oh, well, it'll still be worth it. All right. So let's continue to listen.
What amount of effort or tools would be needed to do something like this?
Criminals are stupid.
And based
They
on the
surely are.
description, I hate to say this, is this someone you would suggest is sloppy, that has never done this before? Does it look disoriented in a way? Just trying to make sense of it.
You know, it's interesting because many people, when they try to dismember a body, they'll try to go for the joint. Somehow they think that's a good place to go when that's a really complicated place to disarticulate a limb. And so the fact that they didn't go for the joint says something about their logic. They
Thank you for the
were
donuts.
making
Thank
cuts,
you, y'all.
presumably to be able to confine her and fit her into a certain amount of space. And so they
Bye,
not
everyone.
only
Bye,
cut the
Cindy.
legs in one place,
Bye.
they cut them in two places, you
See
know,
you soon.
to fit them in. I think beyond that,
It
you can
is.
just say someone's trying to hide
Definitely
the
some
body.
psycho stuff.
They are doing their best to compact the body to hide it, but they left it all there. So I can't really psychologically analyze that part.
How is an eye missing? Is that from decomposition?
Well, it's not really missing as much as it's all gone away. I believe there was mention also in the report of insect activity.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit?
You know, they don't go into great detail about it or about how many generations of insects are there, but it's usually fly activity that we refer to. And adult flies lay eggs in moist places on the body, and then those eggs start to grow and become maggots, and then they keep getting bigger, and then they pupate into the next generation, et cetera, so forth. So they can do a lot of destruction because they're scavengers, if you will. So they will eat dead tissue, necrotic tissue, and just digest it and eat it, and that's what they do. So many times they will go for the soft parts of the eye and other soft areas.
And does that tell you how long the body has been decomposing?
Thank you
And
so
does it
much for the
actually
orange
relate to a
heart.
particular location? Is there specific insects that inhabit a certain
Thank you,
location? And
sunshine.
you could say perhaps there's evidence of those insects being in a
Aussie.
certain location.
Yeah, I think that the entomologists that do this work.
So what she's saying is the eyes weren't really missing. Like he removed the eyes, right? What's up? Hey, thank you, HJ. But the flies, like when you start, flies come around poop. They come around stuff that's dead, the decomposing. So they come around dead bodies who's decomposing, and they start feeding off the flesh. Right? It's been a minute. Hey, sunshine, yeah, it's been a minute. I'm on here every day. Well, just about every day, unless I have a gig to go to, but I'm on here every day. You can find me in the same place every day. So I've been right here. It's all good to see you. All right, crows too. Yes, crows. Thank you for the 100K, y'all. Okay, so everybody coming on in, we're going over the autopsy in the David case. Let's continue to listen.
Specifically, the forensic folks, they collect the maggots, they look at them, they see if there's pupa casings there, if any other material from the flies are there to try to date it. That could give important information.
The female reproductive tract. Okay, this is page 9. uterus present and not enlarged and without endometrial lesions and hemorrhage, ovaries and fallopian tubes appropriate for age, other private areas without lesions. Now, it says other female reproductive tract findings, severe postmortem changes noted. This I just want to highlight because one of the allegations, right, has been put forward is, that David was allegedly engaging in illegal sex acts with a minor, right, with presumably Celeste. And I know that there was at one point a question of...
So allegedly, and we're going through the autopsy, everybody's just coming in, allegedly, the motive, once again, was that he was messing with this. He met this girl when she was 11. He was messing with her by the time she was 13. She hasn't even reached her 15th birthday, right? Everybody around him knows that he was messing with her. She knows that he was messing with her. And she was probably throwing it in his face every time. Exactly, where was the parents? That's a good question, HJ. The parents are around. They're talking to the parents. But I feel like the parents should resume some responsibility to all this happening, meaning that you didn't keep watch on your minor. You didn't keep watch on your minor. Right? I keep comparing it to R. Kelly's parents in that case. Y'all let your kids go with R. Kelly. Y'all let your kid go with R. Kelly. And then when you didn't get what you wanted to get out of it, right? Well, in this case, David's case, they didn't turn on him. He just got caught because he did what he did, right? But R. Kelly didn't unalive nobody, right? But the parents, kids have parents. Parents have kids. Y'all have to let your kid go with R. Kelly. It got to be some kind of permission or conversation at some point or defiance. And if there is a defiance, then you need to get up off of your butt and go find out where your kid is. Now, there was one set of parents in the R. Kelly case that kept going to his house, screaming from the window or whatever, I want my kid back. But this was after the fact. This was after the fact. So it was almost like you just want to put on a show. How come you ain't do that before the fact, before the cameras, before you got caught? This case and R. Kelly is just like the Diddy case. That tape was going around 20 years ago. R. Kelly got caught almost like 20 years after he did what he did. 20 years in the making. You had plenty of time to go find your kid or make an attempt. What's up, Woody? So in the Celeste case, that's a good question. Where are the parents? There's one report allegedly that said they let her go date David. If this is true, then somebody need to go see them. Why would you let your 11, 12, 13-year-old kid date a 21-year-old, 20-year-old, not even a 19? At this point, the doggone a fish market shouldn't even be open yet. Why is the fish market even open? It shouldn't even be open yet. It's almost like that thing that used to come on when we was a kid. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids is at? Remember that? These fools don't know where their kid is at. They don't know. They have no idea. But I feel like the parents should be held responsible too. Now, can they prosecute them? I don't know. But they should be held in regards too. Just like that kid that brought that doggone the vape and the gummies to school, and that little boy ate the gummies. They looking at the parents to give them jail time. For the kids, they probably ain't have no idea that the kid got hold of the gummies and was passing out in school like chiclets. And the boy was so highified, they had to admit him in the hospital to get him down from it because he was eating the gummies like it was candy. My kids are 32 and 24, I still know where they are at, right? Okay? I never heard about that one. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of, look, I know so much, Pope. We got a lot to talk about. A lot. It's just that my time was occupied with life, and life was lifing for a couple of days, right? But we're gonna get on the steady horse in a minute. Yeah. So let's continue to listen to the autopsy report. Let's listen.
Was she pregnant or not? There's nothing to indicate.
That's a good question.
Is there something about this particular section that stands out to you?
No, the report indicates the uterus was normal, so it wasn't enlarged as it would be in pregnancy. There wasn't anything seen on the inner lining of the uterus that would be seen in pregnancy. The external genitalia, the description is of decomposed tissue. So whether there was forceful penetration there, because of the advanced state of the decomposition, it wouldn't be seen.
I just want to go back to the skin defects. This is a part that we didn't talk about.
So she's saying that she ain't saying that he wasn't having asexual relationships with her. She's just saying that she wasn't pregnant because they could tell if the ovaries or whatever, or the womb is enlarged, right? But they can't tell if he was having asexual relations with her because the outer perimeter was decomposing. Now they might have other ways to tell if he was having asexual with her. They got those phone records, they got other things, all right? But she wasn't pregos to their knowledge. Let's listen.
We did. I just need to know if this provides any more information. Skin defect, 3/4 inch. Entrance involving the right abdomen, 21 inches below the top of the head. 1 inch right of midline is a 3/4 inch length penetrating wound with smooth edges. The wound is orientated in the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock directions. The wound tract sequentially perforates the skin and soft tissue of the right abdomen and the liver. The wound tract has an approximately depth of 1.5 inches.
He probably was reporting like R.
The
Kelly.
skin defect involving the lateral left lower chest, 15 inches below the top of the head. 6 inches left of midline is a 9/16 inch penetrating wound with smooth edges. The wound tract sequentially perforates the skin and soft tissue of the lateral left lower chest, left intercostal space, and enters the left chest cavity. The wound tract has a depth of at least 2 inches left to right. The adjacent ribs show disruption of the cortical bone. Is this anything that we haven't?
I mean, those are the serious fatal wounds that are described by the medical examiner. As I said, going into the body cavity and hitting the liver, which would bleed extensively, and then hitting the pleural cavity on the left, causing air and blood to fill up that space. Again, seeing the blood and seeing the air is not possible this many days of decomposition, but the wounds are there and they mark the track of the penetrating weapon. The fact that there's injury on the ribs themselves might be analyzed for a specific weapon as well. The markings on the ribs.
TMZ reported this. I believe to be in here as well, the toxicology findings, right? So it says there was I believe a presumptive positive for methamphetamine and MDMA, but then apparently there was another screening that says meth was inconclusive, MDMA was not detected, that Celeste may have had alcohol in her system, didn't contribute to her death. I think we touched upon that before.
Right.
If you're reading the same thing, correct me if I'm wrong, but what does that tell you?
Well, just referring to the toxicology screening, you can screen for drugs and there can be interfering substances that might look like it's positive for a drug. And then when you do the in-depth analysis to confirm if that's present or not present, that's the more definitive test. So the not detected results after the screening is more relevant, that she didn't have that in her system. The alcohol, you can form alcohol, ethanol, after death in the decomposition process. And so having some there in a decomposed body is not indicative of him imbibing the alcohol.
And just one more thing I want to touch upon. Just towards the end, just goes into more of the report, how when her body was found, she was wearing a tube top, underwear, leggings, and socks. I observed multiple holes in the front and back of the tube top. She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. The decedent was in an advanced state of decomposition demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction, insect activity, partial skeletonization, and skin slippage. Goes on at another point. She was dismembered and was inside a black body bag and black trash bag. We've known some of this before, but it's just so difficult to hear. Final thoughts on this and anything that we're missing from the report that stood out to you?
I'm good, Johnny.
I mean, I think the medical examiner did a thorough job. And in fact, associating the clothing with the wounds on the body is a very important part of analyzing, the penetrating wounds. So some of those additional injuries in the clothing may shed some light on the marks that can't be further identified on the body. I think determining that it's these two fatal wounds that are the primary cause of death and that it's a homicide is very important here.
Mary Jumbelik, thanks for taking the time. I know it's never easy to go through this. I know it's never easy to go through it when you're dealing with a child, but that is exactly what the situation is here. And I appreciate really coming on very quickly to break this down with me. Thank you.
Okay. So there we have it. So being that this autopsy, right, showed them a lot, right? And I agree with what everybody keeps saying. David is cooked. He is cooked. And this is like the tip of the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg of the evidence that they probably got. All the evidence didn't come out. They're probably going to go through all the evidence that they're going to use in court. I want to be there. Is this particular case going to be filmed? Who knows it? I heard he stopped paying the parents, and that's why they reported her missing, allegedly. Oh, wow. I got to look that up, Charlene. And I could believe it. And you know why I could believe it, allegedly? Because there was reports that the parents let Celeste go with him when she was 13, 14, knew that she was dating him, found out what she knew that she was with him eventually, right? The teacher at her school, that the parents can't really say that they knew, well, we're going to do a quick battle before we go to that. The parents can't, if I could go live from my, from set, all right, I might go live from set. We'll see if I have downtime, but I'm in the last scene of the day. So probably when I get there, it's probably going to be a go. But we'll be back on early tomorrow. Okay. And the parents took her phone when she came back, and he paid someone to give her. That's right. I heard that too. He paid somebody who could give her a new phone. So at first the parents were doing what parents do. But you let some money show up. You let some money show up. That's when you see who the real parents is, right? That's when you see where the real parents are when that money shows up. Oh, I need her to come back home right now. She's only 14. Oh yeah? Well, I got about 20,000 right here that says that she's all good. Let's take I was trying to take a little battle, but they disappeared. I got a 20,000 that says that she's good. What's up? A lot of parents having trouble, struggling, paying rent. They're going to take 20,000 and sell their kid up the river. 9 times out of 10. Some people won't admit this, but a lot of these parents would. I got 20,000 to pay my bills. Let's go on out there and run around with a star for a little while. Just don't get her pregnant and send her back with any diseases. All right? Let's do a little battle. Let's do a little battle before we go. Let's see who's here. All right. Y to the tubesy. I will see you very soon. We're going to end the Y to the... How you doing there? Emoji. Okay, hold up, everybody. Let me end the YouTube. All right, YouTube. I will see you later. We'll be back early in the morning. Thank you for joining the Miss Knockout Show. And I will see you soon.
It's the Miss Knockout Show on the airwaves. So like, if I share, if I bless, if I the flow. It's the Miss Knockout Show. Now you already know. Hot topics, music, info, and more. If you ain't tapped in, what you came here for? MKO got the vibe, that's a full takeover. From beats to biz talk, yeah, the queen stay in clover. Trending every lane, I'm the glow you can't block. When I drop gems, whole chat go shock. We don't do brokeify, now we amplify. Stay blessed if I let the energy fly. Hit that tap if I keep it all in the flow. Cause it's the Miss Knockout Show. Knockout Show. Hot topics, beats and the glow. You rockin' with Miss Knockout. Let's go. Let's fuck.